SPLG, VOO, SPY, and all of the other S&P 500 index funds and mutual funds all invest in the same thing, the S&P 500, then why are their prices all so different? I'm going to tell you. One share of SPLG is $68, and it's up 38% in the last 12 months. And these are their holdings. I guess I should move, but you get the idea. And then we have SPY, $583, 38% in the last year. And these are SPY's top 10 holdings. Look, Apple number 1 again. Finally, we have VOO, $536, up 38%. Same holdings, Apple number 1. So if they're all the same, why are their prices so different? A common misconception is that the share price of these funds directly reflects the total value of the holdings. So if they all invest in the same thing, they should all be roughly the same price. But that's not how it actually works. Here's how it really works. And this is going to be a little bit complicated. There might be some words that you've never heard, like assets under management or AUM and net asset value or NAV. But you're smart. You'll stick with it. You'll get it. You'll get it. How does an ETF or an index fund get its actual price? Well, to know that, first let's talk about how an individual stock gets its price. Say you've got a company and you want to take it public on the stock market. You go to an underwriter like JP Morgan or Goldman Sachs or someone like that. And you say, hey, we'd like to take our company public. And they say, well, how much money would you like to raise from your IPO, your initial public offering? And you say, well, we'd like to raise $1 billion. Okay, how many, around what price would you like the stock to go public at? You say, well, let's keep it a little bit more affordable so the average retail investor has the chance to invest in the company. $30. Okay, you want to sell your stock at $30 per share. You want to raise $1 billion. That means you're going to need to sell around 33 million shares. And that's how many shares you would release onto the public markets at the time of your IPO. And that would price your stock at around $30 per share. ETFs and mutual funds, they price a little bit differently. So we're going to go to the dry erase board right now. So as a hypothetical here, let's just say that your ETF wants to have 10 companies in the entire ETF. And you're going to go largest first, so 1,000 shares, and the stock is $100, and this is the amount of money invested. The second largest holding is going to be 900 shares, and it's going to be a $90 per share stock, and 81,000 invested, and it goes all the way down to 100 shares at $10 per share. You've invested $1,000. Now, you're going to have a total of 5,500 shares in your ETF of all these different companies, but that's not what we're looking at. We're looking at something called the amount of shares issued, which let's just say you're going to do 10,000 shares issued. What you do is you add up the assets under management, or AUM, that's 385,000. You divide it by 10,000 because that's how many shares you're issuing, and you get $38.50, and that is the price of your ETF. But that's your fund. A different fund might have more money to invest or less money to invest, and they might issue more shares or fewer shares. So the price of their fund could be dramatically different, even though they might be investing in the exact same stuff. So here we are, we're on Vanguard's website. This is the one that has VOO, and I've just pulled up their portfolio composition so you can see that we're going to look at their whole portfolio, but really let's just pay attention to Apple. And if you scroll right over here, you will see that this fund invests in 398 million shares of Apple. So now I'm on SPY's website, same thing. Let's look at their total holdings. Here we've got Apple, and they have 186 million shares of Apple. Last but not least, let's just take a look at SPLG. Just click on holdings, and here we are again. Apple number 1, 14 million shares. Now, I know what you're thinking. VOO has to be the best because they hold the largest position in all of these companies, right? Almost 400 million shares of Apple versus SPLG that only has 14 million. So more shares equal better, right? Not really. What I look at is the price per share. Is it affordable? Can I acquire a lot of shares without having to go fractional? And what's the expense ratio or the fee? And don't worry, there's no bill. They're not going to bill you. But the expense ratio is the fee that you as an investor would pay. SPY has an expense ratio of 0.09, which means if you had $10,000 invested, you'd be paying $9 a year, so it's not a lot. SPY has an expense ratio of 0.03, which means $10,000 invested, you'd be paying $3 in fees. And SPLG has the lowest at 0.02, which means you'd be paying $2 per year on $10,000 invested. That's really what I look at. I know someone's going to say, oh my God, I have SPY, I'm paying more in expense ratio fees. Should I switch and sell it and buy SPY? Relax. Any expense ratio under 1% is generally considered very low. S&P 500 index funds have relatively low expense ratios across the board, so it's not worth getting all worked up over. So the way that these funds get their price is they look at assets under management and how many shares are on the market. So let's just take a look. This is a great little website right here that allows you to compare ETFs, and you can see that I have SPY and VOO. SPY has $601 billion in assets under management, and they have 1 billion shares on the market. VOO has $548 billion in assets under management, and they have 1 billion shares on the market. And here we are on SPLG, $48.2 billion in assets under management, and only 710 million shares on the market. Another thing to consider when it comes to the pricing of these funds is how long have they been on the market? Or brand recognition can relate to more trust, which can drive the price up a little bit higher. In 1993, the very first S&P 500 index fund, SPY, was launched. SPY has been around the longest. And then in 2010, VOO from Vanguard came onto the market, and in 2017, SPLG came onto the market. So it's the newest of those three at least. So whether you're in SPLG, SPY, or VOO, you're gonna get the same results. All right, smash the follow. Thanks for watching. See you later.